What is up, YouTube? It's me. I'm back. I know. Yeah, pretty fitting for me to not make a YouTube Rangers review until after the Rangers lose. So instead of being dreary and negative because the Rangers lost, actually got spanked. That would be a nicer way to put it. I'm actually gonna go ahead and just do a overall summation of all things, everything from the past. When did I last upload? A week ago? About a week ago? A week ago? It's been about a week. Actually, I think it was a Kreider hat trick against Boston. Could be wrong. Either way, we're just going to talk about the Rangers' past little vial. I'm on NHL.com. I'm just going to pull up some stats. I'm going to see what's going on. So instead of reviewing the past couple games, we're just look at the numbers. See what the Rangers are doing, bruh. Talk about the individual players. Yeah. No, we'll do that. So basically what's going on is this, right? Actually, I do briefly want to say one thing about last game. I don't know why. I'm not saying this is the reason we lost, but taking Blackwell out of lineup was a bit of a head scratcher considering he was playing well. And playing against a Penguins team that is not overly physical, I would have been okay with them taking out Lemieux instead of Blackwell for Giuseppe. But I don't know. We looked pretty lost last night. I don't know. We looked like we were after Zibanejad scored. After that, we just fell off. We just looked invisible. Anyway, we'll talk about who's having a good season, who's having a bad season. First, we'll look at the numbers. To be fair, Johnson is a -5, and we're not going to talk about Johnson. Howden 2 assists, -3 in 23 games. He is 48% in the dot. Gauthier 4 points in 17 games. Lemieux 4 points. Yikes. Kako only 4 points in 16 games. Wow, I thought he was doing much better than that. Jesus Christ. Well, the numbers aren't there, but at least he looks better. Miller 6 points in 20 games. I don't think the numbers are doing him justice. Hedl 6 points in 9 games. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hedl's been off to a great start. The only problem with Hedl is this: he's 37.2% in the dot. Giuseppe's got 7 points. Rooney's got 7. Lafreniere's got 7 and 23, I believe. Not a bad start for Lafreniere, I guess, because he's looked better and better as the season's gone on. But would have liked to seen a little bit more scoring. Now, this is the one that sticks out the most. Snakebit and Zibanejad 9 points in 23 games. Yikes. 45% in the dot. Kreider finally picked it up after I absolutely ridiculed the hell out of him the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. 13 goals, 16 points, 23 games. Stromer, 17 points in 23 games. Talk about Mr. Consistency. He's put up 9 points now without Panarin in the lineup, so I don't want to hear any more talk about Strome being a product of Panarin. Ryan Strome, since coming to the Rangers, when he first came here, we had him on the third and fourth line, and he was putting up numbers. Now you put him on a line with Kreider, and not only is Strome putting up points, but he reignited Chris Kreider. Panarin, before leaving, 18 points, 14 games, and Buchnevich leading the way, 19 points in 23 games. So there's a lot left to be desired from looking at this. 8 points in 14 games for Blackwell. I did not even know that. Damn. There's a lot to be desired in the individual numbers, but there's a lot to be taken away. Ryan Strome, 17 points in 23 games. That's a pretty torrid pace he's on. I mean, that's like a 60, 70-point pace almost. Buchnevich as well. That's like a 70-point pace he's on, man. I know Fitz posted this as a joke on Twitter, but he kind of turned himself to like a miniature poor man's Marian Hossa. He's killing penalties, he's scoring, he's doing literally everything, this guy. It's going to be hard justifying trading Buchnevich in the offseason unless it's a pretty crazy return that we're getting back. Because right now, Buchnevich is kind of carrying the offense alongside of Strome. I can't believe Fox only has 14 points. I feel like this guy's got way more than that the way he's been playing. Jesus Christmas. Has he been freaking good this year? Adam Fox last year was 100% this kid's top 4 defenseman. He's going to be one of our better guys next year. To this is the guy this season. That's what he turned into. So, yeah. In net, Shesty with a .921 save percentage. See, I said this last night, and now I'm starting to see it. Georgiev with an 89.7 save percentage this season. Georgiev has not looked good this season. He's actually, in fact, looked pretty bad, in my opinion. Kincaid did pretty well last night. Of course, gave up 2 fluky ones towards the end on account of the Rangers' defense, just snoring. Georgiev is, I don't know, he hasn't looked the same this season as he did last year. He's definitely had a tough start. I won't get too much into that. I just don't feel like he's played as well this year as he did last year. It's a weird Rangers team this year, man. I mean, if you would have told me this is what the numbers were going to look like at the, before the season started, I would have told you you're freaking crazy. I would have seriously told you you're crazy. I mean, this makes no sense to me. I really would have thought Zibanejad had a comeback season. I'd say a comeback season, back-to-back big years. Excuse me. I would think that Lafreniere wouldn't have been buried as much as he was in the beginning of the season and afraid to play with the puck. Obviously, as of late, it hasn't been that way, but in the beginning of the season, he looked pretty afraid. At least the first 15 games or so. So I'm glad he's coming up as of now, but I would have not have predicted this. I don't know. I would have thought that Panarin was your number 1, Zibanejad 2, Buchnevich, Strome 3, and then at least Lafreniere top 5 scorers on the team. But I'm not disappointed in Lafreniere. I don't know. I thought he would have been doing better, but I'm not going to put everything on David Quinn, but the kid looked scared for a long time. So did Capo Caco. He only started turning up as of late. But I also kind of want to talk about this. I want to talk about the offseason because I don't think the Rangers are making any moves during the season. Unless something falls in their lap, the Rangers aren't making any moves. They're not giving up futures for... I saw an article yesterday, Rickard Rakell being an option. The Rangers right now, unless it's a defenseman, they're not picking up middle six and depth pieces. They're just not. The Rangers right now, we're in a position where we're either going to get a big friggin' asset or we're just trust the process. We don't necessarily need to go out there and make a big move. The only thing the Rangers lack is a bona fide number 1 center. And I think Zibanejad is a number 1 center, but I don't think he's like a bona fide number 1, 100% build a team around this guy number 1 center. He could be when he's scoring, but right now he's not. And I think if you look at years past, every team that's won a Stanley Cup in the past few years, they've got a pretty strong 1-2 punch down the middle. Kuznetsov, Backstrom, Crosby, Malkin. Jonathan Toews every year had a rental behind him that was a pretty damn good center. Ryan O'Reilly and Braden Shen. There's always the teams that are winning cups. Dude, look at the LA Kings. Like when they were winning cups, they had friggin' Kopitar, Jeff Carter, and Mike Richards. Like, there's always a big 1-2 down the middle in these Stanley Cup winning teams. And I think the Rangers right now don't really have that. I think Strome has played incredibly well. And I think he's almost playing out of his league at this point. He's playing so damn well. But I don't know if he's the 1-2 with Zibanejad that you're like, oh, this is a cup-winning team. I think if you get a name like Jack Eichel or Alexander Barkov, then yeah, you can have that conversation. But just Ryan Strome by himself, probably not. So I kind of want to talk in this video a little bit about that. If we go to capfriendly.com. Now, listen, I'm not going to get into the whole Jack Eichel, what's going to get traded for what, because quite frankly, people are way over and way undervaluing this, and this is not a conversation I'm willing to have. I had an idiot. I was dealing with tons of idiots before. I'm not in the friggin' mood for it because people think they know everything. They like, oh no, you're not getting him unless you trade a second overall pick. You're 2 more firsts, a young wide this. Like literally, if you don't trade your entire team for Jack Eichel, you're not getting him. Like, dude, just. Moron. All right, just look at the history of NHL trades of players in similar situations, of similar output, similar accolades, this, that, and the other thing of Jack Eichel. Look what they've garnered in the past, and find me an outlier that doesn't match that could make a case for yourself. Because every top center that's been traded, every top player that's been traded in similar situations as Jack Eichel has really not hauled in nearly as much as people claim that he's going to. So I'm not having that conversation right now. I'll make an entirely other video. I'll even live stream my opinion on what Eichel would bring in a trade, using historical data, not my NHL 21 GM mode opinion. And we'll talk about that another time. But right now, I'm just going to talk about options, all right? If you look at the Rangers team, so right now, this is what you got to look forward to. So if the Rangers are going to make a move for a number 2 center, in my opinion, it's going to happen within the next 2 years. It will not happen after that. If it doesn't happen after that, someone must have came up. The reason I say it's going to happen within the next 2 years is because Zibanejad's a UFA in 2 years, but so is Alexander Barkov. Alexander Barkov, I almost positive is going to walk from the Panthers, and if he doesn't walk from the Panthers, probably going to get traded. But I would be surprised if the Panthers traded Alexander Barkov. And I would be surprised if the Rangers traded for Alexander Barkov. It might be similar to the Artemi Panarin situation where why would we give up assets for this guy at the deadline when we could just sign him in free agency? So I don't know if the Rangers will make a trade for Alexander Barkov. I don't know if that would be the smart move. But I guess it's entirely possible. But the Florida Panthers are playing well right now, so I won't deep dive too much into Barkov as much as I want to. But I don't know. The Panthers are doing too good right now to really talk about Barkov moving because right now they're at a playoff spot and I don't really think Panthers fans want to hear that. But he's an option as the complement to Zibanejad going forward. But it's going to be a weird offseason for the Rangers. So we have plenty of money to re-sign all of our guys. You got to re-sign Buchnevich, Hedel, Gauthier, Howden, Di Giuseppe, Smith, probably going to let walk. Johnson, please let walk. Lindgren, Hayek, Shesty as well. I forgot Shesty was up this year. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know what the Rangers are going to do, to be honest with you. We should have money to make moves, but if you look at the upcoming free agency class, so the free agents for this upcoming year, Ovechkin's not going to be a free agent, so I'm not even going to talk about that. There's not really a number one center out there. There's not even a number two center out there. So I mean, this isn't the year you go into free agency like, oh yeah, this is our year. There's no one out there you're gonna get. Well, actually, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but that's like the Rangers are in a situation where why would you go after Ryan Nugent-Hopkins now when number one, you don't necessarily need him, and number two, you can get a much bigger name the next year. I don't know. I don't think the Rangers are in any rush to pull the trigger and sign a 29-year-old Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I don't think that's their goal. I think they want to get a seriously top-tier center. I think that's what they want. And I think Jack Eichel's my favorite option. I just don't know if he's going to be a valid option. I don't know what Buffalo's asking price is. Again, we already looked at the history. I covered it in a previous live stream, the history of players similar to Jack Eichel being traded. And honestly, it's not nearly as drastic as people are making it sound. I think honestly, if a Jack Eichel trade, right now, if a Jack Eichel trade is being drafted between the Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres, let me just open up Cap Friendly really quickly. It's gonna look a lot different than we think it's going. We're probably planning on it looking. I guarantee you right now, Buffalo's probably like, yeah, well, they'd want Buchnevich and Strome to fill out their roster. So this is similar to that Dubinsky and Nisimov to Columbus for Nash kind of thing, and the Joe Thornton trade, former number 1 overall pick, former 100-point player, Joe Thornton. Where you're getting young roster players, because Strome is 26 and Buchnevich is an RFA. So, same exact way the Rangers acquired Jacob Trouba. He's got 1 year left of RFA, sign him long term after that. I think once you throw those two in the deal, you got to throw in probably a pretty solid prospect. So we're gonna craft this trade based off of the Rick Nash deal, just for now, because the Joe Thornton deal was brutal for the Bruins. So you got to throw in a first-round pick as well. The Rangers' first-round pick this year is probably going to be top 10. So you get Strome, Buchnevich, top 10 pick. Let me just throw Eichel in this. Where is Jack Eichel? There he is. And quite frankly, I'm not all too keen about trading Pavel Buchnevich right now because this kid, he seriously is like a poor man's Marian Hossa at the moment. I think we'd miss him a lot if we traded him. Buchnevich throwing a first-round pick, and then you probably need to give up a pretty good prospect. We'd probably end up losing, I hate to say it, we'd end up losing like a Matthew Robertson or a Zachary Jones, which are two prospects I am not all too keen at losing at all. And if not one of them, maybe Vitaly Kravtsov, but I don't really think Buffalo wants very many forward right now. I'm going to go ahead and slide over quickly to the Buffalo's roster. I say I'm not making it a Jack Eichel video, and here I am. If you look at Buffalo's roster right now, I think they have more forwards and forward prospects than they know what to do with. And you look at their defensive core, aside from Dahlin and Jacob Bryson, their youngest defenseman is 26, and it's Ristolainen, who's going to be a UFA after next year anyways. He's probably going to walk. Do they have any defensive prospects coming up? Not really. Not that I see. And they already got Jack Quinn, so yeah, I don't think Buffalo's asking for forward prospects. I think if Buffalo's making this trade, they're probably saying, you know what? What's his name? Matthew Robertson's been absolutely friggin' barking off. We want Matthew Robertson. And then make everyone else happy. So you're getting a B-plus prospect. You're getting a first-line winger, a second-line center, a top 10 pick, At this point, you could probably throw in another young player like a Libor Hayek, another young defenseman. Which, I mean, it would suck to part ways with them, but if Buffalo's really asking for a lot, you got to oblige. So you lose in a first line winger, a second line center, a B plus prospect. We'll call Libor Hayek a B minus at this point, but he's an NHL played prospect and a top 10 pick for a number 1 center. So Buffalo is at this point filling out their entire roster. They have at center coming up. They got. Oh, that's right. I forgot about Dylan Cousins was still on this friggin' team. Cousins, Middlestad, Strome, Stahl if he doesn't walk, Eakin, Tage Thompson. Yeah, they got a ton of centers still. And they could just build around Rasmus Dahlin. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, and there's a lot that could still happen. So I'm not gonna say this is the trade, because I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me, but I don't know. And Buffalo's probably gonna have a top 10 pick, so they're gonna get 2 top 10 picks this draft. Yeah. If I'm the Buffalo Sabres, I mean, it sucks to lose Jack Eichel, but if you're giving me a first-line winger, second-line center, B+ prospect, B-, and a top 10 pick for Jack Eichel, I'm at least considering it, because I don't know what other team's gonna up the ante past that. A lot of people are saying the LA Kings could offer up Byfield or Turcotte, but let's pretend they do offer one of those players. What do they offer after that? Because you're talking about giving away one of the centerpieces of their future. What are they giving up after that? Probably not much, if at all, anything. So I don't know. There's a lot to sit back and ponder on. You know what? Let me get my thoughts together. I'll end the video here. Well, maybe we'll do a live stream tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so maybe we'll look at a live stream or something tomorrow. We'll talk about this again. But right now, I want to get my thoughts together. I got the day off today. All right, I had school this morning. I did all my work done through Wednesday. I just want to relax today. All right, I just turned my friggin' computer on to play Civilization for the first time in months. So I'm gonna sit back and enjoy today. It's a beautiful day in North Carolina. I might even walk the dogs. Who knows? Right now, he's what it is. Young Rangers team stinks that we lost yesterday. We play tomorrow night at 6, I think, which is a really odd time slot for a weeknight, but that's not the here nor there. You guys comment down below. You know what? Let's just comment anything Rangers. I'm gonna try to reply to as many of you as possible. I know this video is a little bit all over the place, but I'm all over the place right now. So comment down below your thoughts. Let's chit chat. Later, guys.